Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Jake. Today we're talking about something that affects every single one of us: motivation. What makes us get up and do things? And why do we sometimes just not? Jake, I have to ask, what motivated you to get out of bed this morning?
Great question, Anna. Honestly, it was the smell of coffee. That's my biggest motivator in the morning. But I think that's a really good starting point for our topic today. Motivation is this force that pushes us to take action. Psychologists define motivation as the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. So it's not just about starting something, it's also about continuing and finishing it.
That's a great definition. Let's break down that vocabulary. Initiates means to start or begin something. Guides means to direct or show the way. And maintains means to keep something going or continue it. So motivation is the engine behind all three phases: starting, directing, and continuing. And that's a really useful word for English learners: goal-oriented. Can you explain that one, Jake?
Sure. Goal-oriented is a compound adjective. It describes someone who focuses on achieving specific goals. If you're goal-oriented, you set targets for yourself and work toward them. For example, a goal-oriented student might set a target of learning 10 new vocabulary words every day. So today, we're going to explore the science of motivation, what really makes us tick.
I love that phrase, what makes us tick. That's an idiom meaning what makes someone behave the way they do, what drives them. So let's dive into the science. There's a famous psychological theory called self-determination theory. It says that human motivation is driven by three basic psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Can you explain those, Jake?
Absolutely. Autonomy is the need to feel that we are in control of our own choices and actions. When we feel forced to do something, our motivation drops. Competence is the need to feel effective and capable. We want to feel like we're good at what we do. And relatedness is the need to feel connected to others, to belong. When these three needs are met, our motivation is much stronger and more sustainable.
Let's practice those words. Autonomy, say it with me, autonomai. It's a noun. The adjective form is autonomous. Competence, competence. The adjective is competent. And relatedness, relatedness. These are all important concepts for understanding yourself and others. Now, let's talk about two types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic.
Oh, this is really interesting. Intrinsic motivation comes from inside you. You do something because you genuinely enjoy it or find it interesting. For example, I love playing the guitar. I don't get paid for it. I don't get a prize. I do it because it makes me happy. That's intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from outside rewards or punishments. Like studying for a test to get a good grade, or working to earn money.
That's a crucial distinction for English learners. Intrinsic means coming from within. Extrinsic means coming from outside. Now, here's the fascinating part. Research shows that while extrinsic rewards can work in the short term, they can actually decrease intrinsic motivation in the long term. This is called the overjustification effect. When you start doing something you love for money, you might start loving it less.
That's so true. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you love reading English books. You read for fun every day, that's intrinsic motivation. But then someone tells you, if you read for 1 hour every day, I'll give you $10. Suddenly, you might start reading for the money instead of the enjoyment. And if the money stops, you might stop reading too. That's the overjustification effect in action.
That's a perfect example. So what's the takeaway for our listeners? If you want to stay motivated to learn English, focus on finding intrinsic motivation. Read about topics you genuinely enjoy. Watch movies that excite you. Talk to people who inspire you. Don't just learn English for a test score, learn it because you love the doors it opens. Now, let's talk about another powerful concept: the dopamine system.
Dopamine, that's a word you hear a lot these days. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in your brain that's associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. But here's the interesting part, dopamine isn't just released when you get a reward. It's released when you anticipate a reward. So the excitement of waiting for something good can be just as powerful as the thing itself.
That's why setting small goals is so effective. Every time you achieve a small goal, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. This creates a positive feedback loop. You feel good, so you want to keep going. That's why experts recommend breaking big goals into small, manageable steps. Manageable, another great word. It means something you can handle or control. Don't say, I want to be fluent in English. That's too big. Say, today, I will learn 5 new words and use them in 3 sentences.
That's excellent advice. Let me share a technique called habit stacking that works really well with motivation. Habit stacking means attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, you could stack a new habit on top of it, like listening to an English podcast for 5 minutes while you get ready. The existing habit becomes the trigger for the new one.
Habit stacking is brilliant because it uses the momentum you already have. Momentum is the force or energy that keeps something moving once it's started. In physics, an object in motion stays in motion. The same is true for habits. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. So if you're struggling to find motivation, just start with something tiny. The hardest part is always the beginning.
Speaking of the beginning, let's talk about the 2-minute rule from productivity expert David Allen. The idea is simple, if a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't think about it, don't plan it, just do it. This works because it bypasses the part of your brain that resists starting. Once you've started, the momentum carries you forward.
That's a fantastic tip. Let's practice using bypass. It means to go around or avoid something. In this case, you bypass your brain's resistance. And resistance, is the act of opposing or fighting against something. So what's the number one reason people lose motivation? Jake, what do you think?
I think it's perfectionism. Many people wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. They think, I'll start learning English when I have more time, or I'll practice speaking when I'm better. But that's a trap. The perfect moment never comes. You have to start where you are, with what you have. There's a famous quote, done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. I love that. Let's talk about that word, perfectionism. Perfectionism is the refusal to accept anything less than perfect. And while it might sound like a good thing, it's actually one of the biggest enemies of motivation. Perfectionists often get stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes. But in language learning, mistakes are not failures, they're stepping stones.
Exactly. Let me give you a vocabulary tip. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, try saying, I learned something new. This shifts your mindset from negative to positive. It's called reframing, looking at a situation from a different perspective. Reframing is a powerful motivational tool because it changes how you feel about challenges.
Reframe ing. Think of a picture frame. If you don't like the picture, you can change the frame, and suddenly the picture looks different. That's reframing. You don't change the situation, you change how you see it. So here's a practical challenge for our listeners. This week, whenever you feel unmotivated, ask yourself 3 questions. First, can I make this task smaller? Second, can I connect this task to something I enjoy? And third, can I do this task with someone else?
Those 3 questions are gold. Let me summarize why they work. Question 1, making the task smaller, addresses the problem of overwhelm. Question 2, connecting to enjoyment, taps into intrinsic motivation. And question 3, doing it with someone else, fulfills the need for relatedness. Together, they cover all 3 psychological needs from self-determination theory, autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
Beautiful connection, Jake. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered today. We learned that motivation is the process of initiating, guiding, and maintaining goal-oriented behavior. We talked about self-determination theory and the 3 needs, autonomy, competence, and relatedness. We distinguished between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and we learned about the overjustification effect. We explored dopamine, habit stacking, the 2-minute rule, and the danger of perfectionism. And we learned the power of reframing.
And don't forget the key vocabulary. Let's review: initiate, guide, maintain, goal-oriented, autonomy, competence, relatedness, intrinsic, extrinsic, momentum, bypass, resistance, perfectionism, reframe, and manageable. Try to use at least 3 of these words in conversation today. That's a small, manageable goal that will build your motivation and your vocabulary at the same time.
Great suggestions as always, Jake. Remember, motivation isn't something you have, it's something you build, one small step at a time. Start small, reframe your challenges, and connect with others. And of course, keep listening to the English Daily podcast to build your English skills every day.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the English Daily podcast on YouTube. Hit that like button, leave a comment telling us what motivates you, and share this episode with a friend who's learning English. Your support helps us keep making free educational content for English learners around the world.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Stay curious, stay motivated, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking English every day. This is Jake and Anna signing off from the English Daily Podcast. See you next time.